Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the AstroPub. Give me a moment. Coming in kind of last minute here, but we'll get started here in a few seconds. Welcome to the office hours. This is a live stream where I talk about Star Citizen. Star Citizen news, lore, lots of different stuff. We're coming to the very last day of the drought, the last week of the drought for information, with next week being the first ISC back. So today's going to be kind of light. We'll talk a little bit about Siege 3.22a.
You can take away my space
other stuff too.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Undisk Zero just resubscribed for 85 months, butts.
Did Underscore just come onto my stream and say butts? How you doing, Underscore? Thank you for that 85 months. You mad lad. Hopefully you're not too busy today, since I know it's publishing day. So I know that's probably more... It's more, Proxys's thing. Just doing stuff. Awesome. Monitoring how much we break. Right. I actually have my stuff on. We built these and I just started them all up and loaded them. Awesome. Patch is live. Of course it's live. Right when I started my stream, it goes live. That's how this works. Proxys was like, oh shit, Paul's streaming. I better hit that button. Swear to God, one of these days it's gonna happen. I'm looking forward to the Squadron 42 rollout. I'm looking forward to see the bloodshot eyes of both Proxys and Sea Daddy when that happens. Oh, everyone's on it, yeah. Hey, Galactic Elf. Good to the office. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish getting all dressed and stuff. Welcome. Like I said, today's the last day of the drought, so we're going to start seeing a little bit more information come out next week. Not today. I say today, but like this is the last one. Quick, Paul's live. Put him on the big screen in the office and drop that patch. Hey, Logan, how you doing, buddy? Logan, I'm going to be hanging out with Logan on his server doing Enshrouded tomorrow, hopefully. So. I played a little bit on my own last night instead of doing what I should have done. It's fun. It's pretty good. The map is huge, so I can definitely see... I mean, it's definitely got heavy Valheim inspirations, for sure, so... Good God, thank you for getting dressed. Listen, everyone wants to see Paul in his natural state. Trust me. I think I start printing prototypes of the 1/100 Raven next week. Nice. Using your own or using the company's? It's gonna be a good time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I played it up to the first boss, and I beat his ass like a drum so easily. I'm like, I don't know if this game's gonna be okay. The prototypes are production ready. Okay. Hey, Dallas. I tested out my new airbrush a couple days ago, and to prime some models that I had, and this is why I do these things. I got Vallejo primer, and like the thing that everyone kind of said try to use with airbrushes. And all of the stuff I heard was like, you know, you want to do a 2-to-1, two primer to 1 thinner consistency. And so I did that. And it was far too watery. So I was like, so don't. Don't thin it. Or thin it less. So I got to figure that out. Once I feel comfortable enough priming with the thing, I'm going to start painting it more often. Yeah, but you know, Miku, sometimes a company will say something and it's wrong. Like, I've had enough experience with different consistencies of paint that, like, for instance, I use a lot of Citadel paints just because I'm like that. And there are some Citadel paints that people swear up and down you have to thin, and I don't. Like white. Their white is super liquidy. So I'm just like, I'm just not going to bother thinning it. And I know I've never thinned it, and it works fine. So he's a master airbrush. Ask him about it. What I've heard is you just kind of have to get used to how it works, because you can get a lot of fine control with it as you use it. So. I would go get the models to show off, but we've moved everything down. We disassembled our game room and then reassembled the game room in the garage, and including the display and everything like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. People forgot to mention the local temperature and humidity for things like that makes a difference. Yeah, but not as much with airbrushes as it does with rattle cans. Is what I've heard, at least. I am a wild man for not thinning White Scar. Is it White Scar that I use? It might be. It's the one that never settles right. Like when it never thins right. Like it always settles down to the bottom, and you have to like really shake it to get it to kind of like actually, because it separates really easily. So it always looks bad. It always looks like gray puke. Hey, Luna Maria. But I've never had to. It just works with how I use it. Versus like everything else, I thin a lot. Yeah, it's when you push it down, it releases the air, and the lighter you push it, the less air it goes. And as you pull it back, the larger the nozzle gets, so it increases the size, the diameter of how much you're letting out. So once you have the finer control over it, you can like paint details on on things very nicely. And anyone like. Airbrushing is not just a technique for minis, it's used for people, for painting legitimate art, and not that minis aren't into legitimate art, but you know, get the idea. Yeah, it's Corax is what I use. I use Corax white. I never bother trying to layer with white because you can never tell. You can never tell. I mean, you might be able to if you're subtle and all that kind of stuff, but I'm like, my goal is to make my army look nice. And the amount of people I've seen at my local GW store who just bring in like gray plastic, I'm like, damn, I am a much better painter than most of these people, aren't I? Yeah, they haven't marketed, but Darj is in chat. JRDF .sc. That's they sell miniature models. So I have poorly made examples that I have to. These are officially licensed models. And you'll hear this all the time from the community. It's like, just get the files and print them, bro. Like, no, that's not. CIG does not make print-friendly models because most of their stuff is actually stickers, effectively. So. Ivory for model color. I have to look at that. Hey, Dibley. You're dipping your toes in the old world, or just sticking to 40K? I've got a Night Haunt army that I've got to finish putting together and paint for Sigmar. I'm gonna stay away from old world for now because I saw the same thing happen with Horus Heresy, where people got super hyped for the Horus Heresy, and then the hype just died because like people like were really interested in something new, and then they played something new, and then they just went back to the same old. So. I like my ghosts, my spooky ghosts. Ooh, new ghosts. I just like the idea of having an entire army of ghosts was funny, and because originally I was going to go with Cities of Sigmar, because I'm a Guard fan, so I'm like that's effectively the Guard of Sigmar of AOS, right? Like Empire Army, the old Empire armies. Are there larger licensed models? Yes, there are. This one's not finished yet, but this is a freelancer. Most of the stuff you're going to find in stock, though, is the smaller stuff. New York, fancy. The old world is more a middle hammer refinement, a la Lord of the Rings SPG. Then Heresy, which was sent out to die. They seem to be doing okay. Like Heresy was just 7th edition, with some refinements. The problem with Horus Heresy, was they didn't really update it at all. Like they just now finished doing the night houses, and there's just now starting to do the Solar Auxilia, which look cool. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna buy myself a couple of those tanks because I have Guard Army and tanks. I don't care if it's just the Lehman Russ with more things on it. It's the Lehman Russ, but with more things on it. I don't care if the Malkador isn't 40K. That thing looks sexy as fuck. I'm gonna buy it. A plastic Malkador? Yes, please. It's rock and stone for me in AOS and eventually Old World. You know, I've thought about doing dwarves, but I figured Night Hunt would be fun because they're pretty easy to paint. It helps me do layering a little bit more. They're easy to play, so. You do have to put them together, but. Rockin' stone to the bone. Yeah, a lot of people mentioned that it looks a lot like the Mars pattern Lehman Russes, or the Steel Legion, or the what was it? The Krieg, the Deathcore Krieg kind of style. Yeah, as you said, yeah, it's Mars pattern for Krieg. Yeah. The tanks are cool as shit. And the fact that, like, they have more now, I'm like, yes. The only thing that GW can do as a guard, me as a guard fan, to make me happier is to give guard motorcycle scouts, or to give us back the, the buggy. They have it in Necromunda now, but I can't remember the name of it. It's the, like, the 6-wheeled buggy with the las cannon on the back, because that's just cool. It just looks cool. Q-Pen a Tau fan? That's the most telegraphed thing I've ever seen. I mean, same, but. Because Stompy Robot go stomp. All right, let's get into some Star Citizen discussion. So Siege is back, and apparently they, like, a lot of what they were working on with 3.22a, the one that just came out, 3.22.0a, is mostly refinement on stuff they weren't able to get done during the break, or before the break. So, and they specifically talked about bringing back Siege for it. So I'm sort of getting worn out with Siege, like the other events. The reason I have a theory, a game theory about about why they're doing Siege, because Siege is the one very intense FPS AI event. It's the most. It has the most number of AI. You have to fight an FPS. It's all based around mostly FPS. And with CIG adding the FPS mechanics, so the FPS AI behaviors from Squad 42 are in Star Citizen now. So really what they're trying to do is test the AI behaviors from Squadron to see if people like them. The problem was that the last time they ran it with 3.22 was when lieutenants would bury themselves in the ground. So they're trying to fix it so they stop burying themselves in the ground, and they improve their reflexes and everything like that. So... Oh, it's got a specific niche, and normally I love it. It's just definitely played the shit out of it for months. Definitely notice AI getting better though. Yeah, no, the AI I can now get shot at them if I fuck up. So. Hey, how's it going, Animals Evolution? So yeah, so Siege, my theory is that Siege is there to help them figure out what's going on with AI in Star Citizen. Also, I have like Master Modes testing, I have a theory that they're going to use Star Citizen to test the FPS AI from Squadron to see if they need to tweak it before release. So a lot of the stuff that would go into beta of a typical kind of game like Squadron 42 may end up in Star Citizen, which is another reason why I think Fears of War is coming out this year. Because almost certainly, if you could put a co-op PvE experience like like Siege of Orison, into Arena Commander, people would play it. And that would be the perfect testing ground for CIG to figure out what they need to tune and change with FPS behavior, because we will find the weird parts that their beta testers or their experienced testers or their QA may not. The Arena Commander team is gone now? Where did you hear that, Volata? They're not gone, as far as I know. Hi, Paul Tomato says to ask you how much you love the lore of the Redeemer. I would love it if I had it. There's no lore of the Redeemer. Is Tomato finishing up? Well, the Arena Commander team is gone now. They're working the PU now. No, the Arena Commander team is still there and still working, as far as I heard. In the monthly report, they said they're starting to integrate a lot of aspects into the PU directly. Effectively, and that's a good question. That's a good thing to ask. But I think what that basically means is that they're going to start integrating aspects of Arena Commander into the PU or working with them more closely. My guess would be things like helping set up testing for multi-crew, like they wanted to do. Things like the master mode tests, to start helping test the PU more specifically with Arena Commander, elements of the PU with Arena Commander, so it makes it easier for them to find issues with the PU or find refine the experience in the PU without having to have players like suit up, go 4 systems away, drop down, and get to the location. Oh joy, I get to remake my face again. Let's see what else CIG destroyed. Everything. One of the things that this is me, my more pessimistic side is coming out with this one, but I honestly don't think that CIG will have, I don't know how to put this properly. I don't think CIG will be able to do a lot of the stuff we want them to do this year. For instance, I would love for the ability to have the new content or the character creator. I'd love to see that in game, but I'd also like to see that character creator save your characters between patches. And I think CIG would emphasize and prioritize the character creator, but that second part is not really a concern. I really love to see them actually work on this, what is it called? The replication layer split. I'd love to see that in game, in live. But I am under no illusion to believe that it's actually going to do anything. The first version of this is likely just going to be like what PES was, which is everything we had, but just now running on PES. The first version is just going to be everything we already had, but now running with replication layers separated out. That's it. Not the save game stuff where, like, if you crash out, you come back in right where you are. So we'll still have 30K problems. And I think that's the problem. That's the big concern, my big fear for this year, is that a lot of the stuff that would be quality of life stuff, which would improve the overall experience of most players, is not going to be prioritized because CIG is going to emphasize the content rather than the playability. Does that make sense? Hey, ball bounces. Doing good? I'm a little... DJ in Mike's chat said something like, I will let AC die over my dead body, but they need ass on the PU now. Us on the PU now. Huh. Okay. That's new information for me. DJ every so often shows up here. I'm sure DJ isn't here, so I can talk all the shit I can about DJ. But that's new. Hey, Norse. We were just talking about Siege. Listen, they do need ass in the PU models. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, do they? The male model has no ass. That thing is flatter than a board. It has no shape. There's no dimension. It's just whoever they scanned for their body is like Hank Hill. It's a sexy Hank Hill, but it's a Hank Hill. DJ the dirty lurker. That's why I say if I start talking shit about him, he'll show up. It's like if I start talking shit about C Daddy, he'll hear his name and be like, "What are you talking about me?" Because I know you fucking lurk, you pieces of shit. All of you dirty lurkers. Why are there no chubby models, more diverse body shapes as well? There's actually a reason for that. The reason why we don't have more diverse body shapes is because of how they have to position the player to access the controls of the ships, because they have to actually model the player in the controls in the cockpit, moving things around. They have to work with a specific body type. And as a larger man who's trying to get his weight down, I can tell you that sitting in a desk designed for 18-year-olds, older, young adults. Every so often I have to do that when I go into meetings. I have to sit in one of those combined desk chairs. And my stomach is crammed up against that. So you can imagine something like that with control sticks, which doesn't work. It'll clip into things and it gets weird. Plus, you also have to deal with different body shapes, meaning you have to have different clothing to make it look better. You have to have it morph properly. There's a lot of tools with that. At one point, CIG said that they wanted to try to do that, but they have to develop a tool for it. So why does my heavy armor block my sniper scopes? Because CIG is bad at clipping those things. If a bug happens and destroys our stuff, well, bugs happen, no issue, but we're crying IC for all it's good it does, because bug benefits the players. Oh my god, exploit, fix immediately. I mean, that's kind of how it works. Now, I understand to a degree CIG's point. Would I prefer CIG do content over quality of life improvements? Yes. Because at the end of the day, CIG spending hours and hours and hours fixing a problem that's just going to show up again in 3 patches, that's just wasted time. I'd much rather that time be put into putting in bounty hunting or anything that's new to the game. But at the same time, I understand that it's frustrating and it sucks, because a lot of times those bugs aren't just minor annoyances, they literally kill gameplay. So. However, I would argue that having your character persist between patches in terms of the character creator you created, and things like the crash handler, I would find those as priorities, because they're gameplay requirements. We have to test them. And if you build a bunch of stuff and then build that afterwards, I am not a programmer. I am not a developer. So I might be talking on my ass here. But it feels like those sorts of things would probably interact negatively with other stuff that's coming in. So it might make sense to put those in first, then put some new stuff in, so that when they have those negative interactions, like different professions and other, parts, then they might be able to fix those later. But you can't fix those. To me, it makes more sense to do that first and then put those in to find the problems, rather than put the features in and then put the crash handler in afterwards. So. Because monetary exploits hurt ship sales. Q-Pan's trying to summon Jake. Did it work? Probably not. I'm sure Jake is streaming right now. Yeah, I was gonna say Jake is streaming right now. Or at least the ability to export the hex code for the character so we could import them to the character again. That would be nice. Like a character, not even a hex code, just a character code export. At least we're getting save and export for character creator. Fluid. I'm gonna come close. I want you to come real close right now. Come close right now. I doubt it. That's one of those features that if they have to cut something from it in order to publish it, they're gonna cut it. And then it's going to be 7 months before it gets implemented. And this may be my old jaded ass talking based off of all my experience with CIG, where they'll talk about this new feature and then they end up releasing a bare bones threadbare version because CIG is very cagey about talking about details. And then they end up delivering a much smaller thing than what people had hoped for. But yeah. I'm just reading what they said in Spectrum in October. I know. I mean, did Sean Tracy specifically say that it was going to come with the first version of the character creator, of the new character creator? That's the question. If they didn't, then they didn't promise it. And that's how it goes. Oh, this is great. We're going to have all of these different features. Cool. And it releases with half those features. And they go, you promised us these features. And they said, no, we want to release those features eventually. These are the ones we're starting with. And, you know, I've been around this block so many times that I know that that's what CIG does every time. I have never experienced a CIG release that exceeded my expectations of it. Yeah, unless they specifically said that it will come with the first version to release, then I wouldn't expect it. I'm gonna, this is again me talking out my ass, but I found that the most characters in games tend to be average 6 foot. And I think the reason why the average is 6 foot for most characters in most video games, or your average, kind of for the average person perspective. The reason why is because it's so much easier to design around that metric. Because there are people who are 6 foot, so it's easy to use that as a reference. And it's a nice flat number for Americans. It's a little more funky when you're looking at centimeters, but, you know. I also saw a great comment in the latest video that I released, which was my reaction to the ISC and kind of, I would say the video is good because it kind of starts off with me being like, no, wait, no. And then like, I slowly come towards the end of the video. I'm like, I actually think they could do this. I mean, there's going to be some restrictions, but I think they could do this. Like that variation is pretty big because like it was more of me kind of my initial reaction versus my like me thinking about it and going, no, wait, I think they actually might be able to do this. And like that is someone posted on this like I've unsubscribed from you. Actually, let me pull it up specifically so I can read it. Lost my sub. Can't handle the pretentious attitude anymore. All the naysaying has worn thin on me. I have become Schrödinger citizen. I am both a shill and a hater at the same time. I like to save images like that, or images. It's an image for me, but I like to save comments like that because it always, whenever I tell people, like people call me a shill, and then the next comment will call me a hater in the same video sometimes. I was like, I don't know if that means I'm doing something right, but it definitely means that I'm on no one's side, apparently. But it happens a lot. It happens very often that I get those sorts of comments. And I don't hold anyone against it. It's just like, I don't know. Either way, I stole your brother's wallet. Now do it again, Lady Space Patrol. I hate to say it, but that's how I am. I love and hate CIG at the same time. CIG is not a person. CIG is a corporate entity. CIG is not your friend. CIG will do everything it can to keep itself alive. It is a vicious, wild animal that will do anything to keep itself alive. It's just more tame than most of the other gaming animals out there, which will rip your guts out and steal everything from you. And not blink twice. The point being, CIG, as an entity, no one should trust. Individuals inside CIG, who are people, human beings with passions and, ideas and skills, they're not the same. Those are people. Heck.
Victoria just got a sub from Erie Stratide. Erie Stratide gifted a tier 1 sub to VICTURA.
Hey, thank you so much for giving that sub to Victoria there, Iris. You're a very important pupper, very impressive sister, very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Hey, Kelsar, how you doing? Did we get a shout out for Kelsar, another streamer, content creator here at Star Citizen? My point being, we've seen CIG will do. Yeah, CIG will kick a puppy if it's the difference between them getting money enough to stay open or not. Like, CIG is not above doing anything to keep itself alive. They do have more limits than other companies. Like, I don't see them just going for maximum profit all the time, but I do see them do I would see them do desperate Hail Marys to get the money they need to. So, but the people who work at CIG are people, and generally speaking, could be trusted if you like them, if you know them. I know enough of them because I knew a lot of them as part of the community before they became Star Citizen developers. So,
but you can never, ever take away my space game.
Oh, I would be the first in that line, Talzar. Mostly because I would think that would be funny.
Shogi_HR just resubscribed for 2 months. Dummies.
Thank you so much.
Dem biddies.
Thank you for them biddies. There, Kelsar, and thank you so much for to Shogi for that subscription, the 2 month subscription. You're a very important pupper, very impressive, Mr. Vandy Pedestrian. This is your fault. You just want to drink tonight. Shots and cheers to chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Oh, I mean, yeah, if CIG would absolutely make killer amounts of money if they let us put anime waifu pinup girls on our ships. That's a money printing machine. Money printing machine. Even if CIG was the one who designed it, money printing machine. It's okay. Yeah, feel free. Was it Yogi who posted it? That's unusual. Usually stuff that deals with the character creator would be Sean, but yeah. CIG has already sold the F8C. All right, let's pull it up. Thank you for posting the link. Yeah, there it is. We do have a save feature. It's how we can move those characters easily now. We export them internally in something called the CHF file, which ultimately is a combination of the DNA string, which is geometry blends, plus it adds the customization options applied, their eye, hair coloring, etc. What we haven't done is put in the UI, as it's a dev mode feature in our IM GUI interface. At the second, we fully intend to ship this with a save, export, and better yet, share functionality. Okay. Intend is doing a lot of work there. Okay? Intend. I'll pull it up on the screen so you can see it. This is the part right here where he talks about it. Basically, all this is just, yeah, we have these already working. What we haven't done is put in the UI as it's a dev mode feature on our GUI interface at the second. We fully intend Look at that. Look at that. Look at that nice little word there. It's nestled in all of those cool hypeness. Intend. It's what I like to call weasel words. Don't expect it in the first iteration. Them biddies.
Skip the Redeemer commercial today. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Thank you, Drecky, for those buddies. I'm still got a cough that comes up, so. Weasel words. It's not a promise. It's intention, which is nice. And the fact that they have it working internally is nice. That's good, actually. It means that it's not something they have to kind of they want to do eventually, like they usually do. It works. They have it functional. It's just not there yet, you know? That's for when I get around to it. Problem is, there's always stuff that needs done. Yes. Intend, yeah, they're not making it. They're not making that. They're not making that. They're not shipping with save and share functionality. They'll be lucky to ship it with the front end UI. And that's the key. You always have to look for the weasel words. CIG always puts them in every single thing that they say. And it's intentional because CIG wants to both get people excited for a new feature that they're excited about. But they also have to ensure that they don't promise anything, because if they promised anything, then people would put them up on clip compilations and put them up about all of the different times that CIG said this or that was going to come out in a couple of months and they missed it, and, you know, list 20 minutes of just random devs talking about, yes, this is coming out for sure. And so over the years, CIG has gotten better and better at weasel words to the point where it's effectively corporate, like, policy almost, that CIG will always weasel word in any statement they say. Intend, plan to, we're looking into. Words that mean nothing. But you can slip them into a small sentence that makes it so that you don't seem like you're promising it, but still hype everything else up around it. qualifying statements. Thank you. Yeah. I call them weasel words because they're ways that you can weasel out of arguments in the future. For instance, Jared at the very last ISC said, very last ISC said, we're shooting for a summer 2024 release for 4.0. Shooting for. Doing a lot of fucking work there. It's a big lift. Yeah, Iris, that's been my experience with that sort of thing. Your apes are gone. They've stole your apes. See as you stole your apes. Yeah, shoot for. They didn't say who they're shooting with or who's shooting it in the first place. Is it a stormtrooper? Weaselworks is corporate speak. So when people say, but you promised this patch today, see, you just say, no, we said we intended to get it out today. Exactly. Shooting for, yeah, but yes, they're going to get it to May. So it's been pointed out to me that the summer patch is not in June. CIG considers the summer patch to be August and September. The Q3 patch. Q1 is coming in March. Q2 is June, May, June. It's the Invictus patch. Q3 is the summer patch, which is August, September. And Q4 is the winter patch, usually around December. But which hemisphere summer? It is always a short Q4 because it's like October through December. It's one of the reasons why I have been a big advocate and hoping that CIG completely removes the Q4 patch. It goes instead to three-quarter patches a year with more, like, with just basically updating the Q4 patch is kind of like as a quality of life thing, which would take a lot of pressure off of the developers during a time that's very busy otherwise, and B, it would make it for a more stable end of the year patch, generally speaking, for most players. So when most of your audience, CIG, is playing the game, you have a stable branch that they can play. So you don't look like a bunch of idiots who don't know how to make video games, because you're not a bunch of idiots who don't know how to make video games. You all know how to make video games. But when you leave for 2 weeks and your game breaks and no one's there to fix it, you look like a bunch of idiots. It's unfair because that's the way people perceive it by, but that's the way it is. And I want to be clear, I'm not calling CIG a bunch of idiots. I'm just saying there are perceptions, and it happens every winter. Most of the development team at CIG has been on many released games under their belt. Now, obviously, it's not a silver bullet. That won't always fix the problem. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does pretty well, because you know who agrees with me on this fact? CIG. At least twice, they've done a Q4 patch, which has been just the same branch as the previous one, but with a new name. It's effectively a 3.x.x patch rather than a 3.x patch. The process is done, not the people specifically. Yeah. I think, and I understand the desire for it. The desire for a Q4 patch comes from the fact that they want to make Star Citizen a live service game, which is what all MMOs are. It's what MMOs, it's live service is just a new word for what MMOs were called back in the day. They just, because it's no longer always a massively multiplayer game, they just called them live service, which are dying. So, you know, got that going for you. But because it's an MMO, it's going to have an increased number of, you're going to have to constantly release patches so that you can keep people interested. And so setting the culture up so that you can do 4 patches a year is a good practice, because it gets people into the idea of working those patches so you have content once every 3 months. However, we're still probably several years away from a solid release of Star Citizen. So having only 3 quarters with a lot of kind of managing of the massaging of the 4th quarter patch to be more of a just a kind of an addition to the 3rd quarter patch would go a long way to improving game playability and burnout and reduced burnout. Source, Jack Space Games. Let me see. What's your source that V1's in 2025? Show me the source. You? So you made it the fuck up? Is that what it is, Jack? Jack Space Games is really Chris Roberts. I think 3.22a does add some fixes, but it's mostly just like updates. Source, it came to me in a dream. Source, I made it the fuck up. That's the answer. Then wouldn't it be better to further stagger the teams with one specifically to handle bug smashing and stability that would be there just for Q4 and then can go on vacation after?
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews. I'm going to tackle that here in a moment.
Ever take away my space game.
Minion 908 just resubscribed for 56 months.
Thank you so much for that, Minion. You're a very important popper, very impressive pisser, very pedestrian. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Ghost Maverick, did we get a wipe? No. But you probably got shit that was like lost, because they did say there was a bunch of inventory stuff that got lost. So partial wipe, basically. Love the sub dance, 56 months now. Nice, Jack Space Games. Big fences? Yeah. Yeah, 56 months. I've been doing this a long time. Source, trust me, bro. Okay, let me go back to that because that's your good. Cite your sources. Yeah, I'm just a stickler, this historian who's like, I don't trust you unless you give me a source. Wouldn't it be further to stagger the teams with one specifically to handle bug smashing and instability that would be here just for Q4 and then go on vacation afterwards? Yeah, maybe, but I think that's kind of what I'm talking about anyways. You just have a team that would be doing work and then specifically rotate to do stagger stuff, or staggered to work on that towards the end. But. You lost all your med pins, that's it. People who kept their stuff in the new crates have them. Yeah, I heard all of the 1SCU crates are busted. Ammo and med pens are always gone, but no, I don't. I've seen that leak and I've talked about it in the previous. It's not that I don't think it's true or false. It's just because there's no source other than trust me, bro. And we're talking about, even if that source is legitimate, it's a CIG source talking about 2 years down the road. Do you seriously think that CIG can plan 2 years ahead of time? Because if they could have, they would have released Squadron 42 years ago. The answer is they have no fucking idea what's going on in 2025. They have a vague idea that they're thrusting towards in the dark for 2 years from now. Because do you know what you're doing in 2 years? New crates, yeah, the 2 Force and 8 and 16 crates, I think, are the ones. The closer to current day that the news is, the more likely it's going to be. The one thing that I will give Jake, I will not stop giving Jake credit for, even though they won't take credit for it, is that the release view has rarely been wrong. I think there have been 4 times since the release view has been released that they have been incorrect. And almost all of them were Q4 patch. Jack, here's a general kind of rule of thumb when you're talking about anything for Star Citizen. If there is something positive about Star Citizen, like, oh, the FPS is increased for me or for a bunch of people, there is always one person who CIG has taken behind the dumpster and beat the shit out of and dumped into a vat of acid. That's always the case. Always the case. The entire game could run flawless for every person you know, and there will be 5 people who come out of the woodwork and tell you that the game beat up their grandmother, took all of their money, made them divorce their spouse, chucked them into the ocean while tied with weights, and then prevented them from getting their Social Security payments. It always happens whenever you mention it. And sometimes it's true. A lot of times it's true. But yeah. I get what you're saying, Iris. I know you're not that mad. You're just mostly doing it for the drama. It's been a day. This is just cherry on top. You sound like my wife. She was she's had one of those days too, because she has good news and panicking news. The editor finally got back to her, so she now has the final version of her book in her computer. Edited. She has to just look over it and approve the changes, and then it goes to the printers. Which is cool, but it also makes it real. So, for those of you who don't know, generally speaking, most authors today have to promote their books themselves. the companies that publish them generally won't pay for advertising unless there's a deal that's been made. So it's up to authors, especially new authors, to self-promote. There are 94 of you in this room, and I expect all 94 of you to buy the book when it comes out. I know who you are. I have your addresses, and I will I will publish them online to your worst enemies unless you buy them. I will once we get. I don't think it has an ISBN yet. Basically, Cam has to look through it, approve of it, and then it goes to get an ISBN. So. So it's I don't want to call it a psychological horror, but it's definitely more a psychological thriller. But it's kind of like a drama thriller. It's about a woman who's okay. This is going to sound very familiar because it's partially based off her own life, but it's about a woman who's dating a professional Twitch streamer, and he's going to, or affianced to him, and he's going to his first big convention as like kind of a full-time streamer. And she's there to support him, but also to do other things. And so she has to work through a bunch of stuff that she's dealing with, past traumas. And the book cuts between her in the real life and her dream life. And in her dreams, she's having these weird, fucked up dreams. And like a lot of these different things are happening. And so she has to kind of correlate what's going on in her dreams with reality. And sometimes they kind of bleed over here and there. And it's a lot about this woman coming to terms with what's happening to her and her own past, and to kind of realize that she needs help. So. Seems sus, married to a Twitch streamer. Yeah. It's very personal because it's a lot about her own personal. She took a lot of her own personal experience dealing with DID. She was diagnosed with DID a couple of years ago. And so she's been going through, therapy and stuff like that. And the book was partially inspired by her because she's been a writer her whole life. But there was writing this book was a lot about her own kind of working through some stuff with her own therapists and stuff like that. It's really good. I'm not the kind of person who enjoys those sorts of novels. And I read it, and I realized after about 20 pages that if I didn't stop reading, I would read the whole thing. She does a very page turner style. So once you start reading, you don't stop. So it's not out yet. It's going to be released in April. So April's its release.
Come and put your lips against mine tonight. There's no more of me timid and shy. Only the concealed part of me, begging. Put down your things and let me plead you to the acts in my mind. No more will I be kind. You won't be friendly. I don't want to own a new friend. From here I smell your sex and picture your sweat from a night of intimate dance. Let me lead you to the steps. Make me come by the end of the song.
Thank you? Is that what is that? What is that from? She's the Sid Meier of novels, yeah. I didn't remember she had the History of the Imperial Guide, Dice and Tropes. Yeah. Like she wrote the book 2 years ago. So, yeah. Does the book have a scam type game in it, crowdfunded by a developer named GIC, Games and Clouds? No, but I mean, she does kind of allude to, like it's from her own experiences being, my wife and going to various events. In fact, the original version of the novel, the guy was her boyfriend, and I think it was her boyfriend, and I was like, so do you want him? Because like, being a boyfriend is a status that a lot of people have, like, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's very common. I'm like, what do you want this guy to be? And she kind of went through and said, well, I want her to be serious about it, and I want them to like seem like they're close, but also have struggles and stuff like that. And so I said, don't make them boyfriend, girlfriend, make them fiancés, because you've seen people in books who are boyfriend and girlfriend. You've seen people in books who are husband and wife. But how many fiancés do you see? It's this kind of nice nebulous zone where they're definitely more serious, but they haven't crossed that boundary yet. So it's still more of a more serious than boyfriend and girlfriend, but not quite a husband and wife. I thought it was a neat thing, and she's like, yeah, and she added that to the book. So that's my one addition to that book, is changing that. I'm not a reader, but I would listen to her audiobook for sure. Yeah, we're working on the audiobook stuff. She's got to figure it out, because she's got to talk with her publisher about getting audiobooks. That might be a little thing that has to come in later, but yeah. Yeah, it's super rare. It's like less than 1% of the population has it, but. You're not reading it for me. You're reading it for Cam, though, Diablos. Or you're talking about you're not going to do the read. Yes, I'm going to have Diablos read it. It really depends on what's required. We may have to pay a fee, and we have to do it ourselves to release it through it, as long as they're okay with it. But we haven't done any kind of research for it, Cam and I. If the publisher's like, we're not doing it, and we're okay with you doing it, I'll talk to the people I know who are audio, who are voice actors, who might be okay with that. Thoughts on edible Terrans being added to the game? What? Like people can eat people from Terra? Is that what it is? I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be released as an EPUB. It's going to be on Amazon, and you can actually. It won't. I don't think it'll be stocked in shelves at like Barnes and Noble, but it is. They can order. Barnes and Noble can order books, like the book for their stores and stuff like that. He means edible underwear. I'm cool with that. Terrans or Tavarans, yeah. All right. Kind of already touched on this, but let's go into the next part, and then we'll kind of go more into the just question and answer section, talking about the kind of stuff. Setting expectations for 2024. By the way, hi, Angry PC Tech. How you doing? I want to say, if I was to talk to you as a fan of Star Citizen, trying to talk to other fans of Star Citizen about what to expect for Star Citizen in 2024, I will say this. Anything showed off at CitizenCon has a high likelihood of making it into the game this year. That being said, likely not everything. Like, I doubt that we'll see a full version of base building added. I've seen the leaks. I've seen the discussions about it possibly coming in Q1. There's no sources for that. I think that even that source was an overheard discussion from a bar citizen, which is like, I've been to many bar citizens in my life. I've been to bar citizens with devs. And they don't talk that detailed. But I would say that, like, there are the stuff that looks like it was in game at CitizenCon will likely make it into Star Citizen. Maybe not first quarter, maybe second quarter, maybe third quarter, but it'll probably make it in. Beyond that, anything that CIG has explicitly stated in their monthly reports or showed off at ISC as like kind of more completed will likely make it in. Which means, this is going to sound like a lot, but things like the freight elevators, persistent hangars, the way that the cargo grid works, the snapping of cargo grid stuff will probably be added in. Probably cargo missions, maybe bounty hunting. That's a big maybe, but there's been a lot of stuff that's added to it. And a lot of stuff like Vulkan is almost certainly going to be in. Vulkan API version 1 is going to be coming in. So a lot of that stuff. And probably 4.0. Now, does that mean that 4.0, all of it is coming into the game? I don't know. I would err on the side of saying no. Almost certainly the entirety of Pyro probably will be there. But if you think that every Pyro location is going to have every point of interest it'll ever have, I doubt it. I think they'll have enough to satisfy most people's curiosities and gameplay, but generally speaking, I don't think it's going to be probably not as much as we currently have in Stanton. Will we have jump points and server meshing? Probably. And will it be, I think the only other addition would be something like the new reputation like the new stuff they've been adding for reputation will probably make it in, because that's stuff they've been talking about for 2 years now. So, but yeah, that's about it. So I wouldn't expect, again, bounty hunting is a big maybe, probably not going to make it in. I wouldn't expect anything else other than that. That's a lot. It's still a lot, but most of it is not features. Most of it is the new UI, new HUD, new MOBA glass, new character creator, more detailed damage stuff, water physics, the new what was it called? Master modes, new AI stuff, some new locations. That's about it. Anyways, my battery's about to disappear. Have a good day. Remember, destroy all humans. Hey, Cora. Have a good night. That's another thing. Recently, in the monthly report, not the monthly report, the Twisk. Yeah, Twisk. This Week in Star Citizen. Jared popped on to say that ISC is no longer taking as much of a hiatus every patch cycle. Before, it's like 3 to 4 weeks of hiatus. Now they're going to push themselves so that they're not going to do any hiatuses. Maybe a week of hiatus. So we might get a week between, like an off week every patch cycle. But we're going to get more. Setting expectations for that. That doesn't mean we're going to get more you want. That means that we may have weeks where we're talking to the QA team, weeks that we're talking to the lighting team, weeks they're talking to the lore team. I love that, but not everyone does. So we're not going to see major updates every single time. I expect it to be probably more drawn out, maybe even shorter as a result, but yeah. They're going to flood us with content. I'm a little more pessimistic about them flooding us with content. I think they'll give us a lot of stuff to do. And the one thing that seems to be very, very, very obvious is that the PU team, the sandbox team and the mission teams, the PU sandbox teams and the mission development team, the mission feature team, they got no breaks. Oh gosh, I'm so bad at his name because it's Wacka. He's gonna hate me for saying his name wrong. I always fuck it up. and my brain is so in other things. But like, yeah, they just, the entire mission features team just decided to rip the brakes out. Elliot, thank you. Elliot and his team decided, fuck these brakes, we don't need them, they're superfluous, and just ripped them out and decided to go. And you know, this is why I love the mission feature team, because they give zero shits. They're gonna throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Sometimes it's going to be absolute like garbage content, and sometimes it's going to be fucking bangers. Either way, we're going to get stuff. So Kwaku, yeah. I'm Kwaku, yeah. This week we're talking to the police pizza delivery guy. Yeah. Not in-game content, but info. Oh yeah. Yeah, but content isn't necessarily a good thing. I'm a big proponent that content is bad. No one actually wants content, but they say they do. Because like, I make some of my videos for like the Astro Historian, or even just here. It's content. It's just, you will click it. You've clicked this thumbnail. Here you are. Ha ha ha. I have you. Thank you for your money. Now you may go fuck off. It's like the algorithm needs me to produce content, so I do. And then there's art, which is stuff that I put my time and effort and energy into. And the longer I've been in this game, not just Star Citizen, but in the content creation game, the longer I've realized that content does better than art, because people are prone to like content, to click content, but nobody likes content. People hate content. They love art. They love effort, but they click content. Does that make sense? No one's content with content. Yes. And I think that's, you're right though. I think that's what we're going to get, which is content. We're going to get a lot more stuff. Which, I don't know if I'm okay with. I'm not okay with CIG producing more just stuff. I know it's impossible to storyify everything you put into a Star Citizen as a game, or even have every single video of ISC be some sort of artistic masterpiece. But I'm not a fan of stuff. I'm a fan of art. And, you know, props to the ISC team. They are very good at art. Because they're a bunch of shit posters, and they're the best type of shit posters. Yeah, but armors are art. Like, that requires someone to think and plan and create. That's not content. The Redeemer is a work of art. The Redeemer is a work of art if art by committee, if you like art by committee. Which is one of the reasons why whenever I hear people say, well, back in the day, we used to get 45-minute and hour-long ISCs. And I just want to reach through the screen and go, no, we didn't. We got 45 minutes of garbage with, you know, 30 minutes of garbage with 15 minutes of content, of actual, like, information or things that we needed. Most of it was, this is what we did. And that was it. And that's when I realized that what people were missing was the monthly reports. Because CIG used to basically take the monthly reports from every studio and have them record them talking about what they added. They just filmed themselves talking about what they did every month. That was, they did monthly studio things and they would rotate it, and that's how they got it done. And it was about 30 minutes long. And then that's when I realized, holy shit, I can just do this now. And that's what I've done. So yeah, she no longer does it, so I do it. That's an insult to sloths there, Drekkie. It's like calling the Redeemer looking like a sloth. No, sloths look so much better. I like to see more how things are done, like certain stages of vehicle animation and programming. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I'm a fan of their processes, but game devs hate this streamer because of one neat trick. But I think that the idea of content is this is just me getting more philosophical here. Is that I have a problem with content on YouTube because and it translates to my kind of current way of looking at games. I feel like games with content are not well made. You know, Far Cry is a good idea with decent mechanics. That's just bland because it's just content. It's just recycled. There's no soul in it. It doesn't feel like someone sat down and said, I want to make this game because I think it's going to have an impact. It's going to have a message, a story, or at least a story arc, which is going to impact people. It's more like, we need to make another Far Cry game. What's a unique idea?
Them biddies.
Paul, stop being so down on your favorite ship. The Redeemer is beautiful and you should just embrace your love of it. No need to be so ashamed. Kill the part of you that cringes, Paul.
Thank you, Iris. So it didn't show up in my chat. The sloths are adorable. Redeemer is powered by 2 hair straighteners. Look at Power World. No real story in the game, yet those sales are, and concurrent players. I have a feeling that the reason why the Power World is doing so well is more to do with the failure of Pokemon than anything. Because here's the thing.
You can take away my
Power World will
spaceship.
be forgotten once another
Take
game
away
comes
my
out.
spacesuit.
No one will give a shit
Take
about
away
it.
my space
They just got
lasers.
released at the right time.
But you can never,
Never.
ever take away my space game.
Walker 300 just resubscribed for 14 months. Thank you for sharing your great wisdom, Sage of Law.
Thank you so much, M. Walker, for that 14 months of support. You're a very important pub, a very impressive pisser of any pedestrian. This is your fault. You're drinking that. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Is Double Dragon at the co-op? Yeah. I mean, yeah. But at least the Far Cry, like Far Cry was at least trying to do something interesting. Right? The thing about Far Cry was, if I remember correctly, was that the first Far Cry was open world. Whereas Crysis, which is the reason why it's called Far Cry is because it was built on the Cry engine. And I think it was built by Crytek. The first one was, at least. It might have been Ubisoft as well, but open-ish world. It was like another delve into what the Cry engine could do without it being Crysis. So it was like an experiment. And Far Cry 2 is much more well remembered because of its unique aspects. The bushfires, the different ways you could approach things. Like, the mechanics really drove those games, which is fine. It has to have some things. Like, there are very rarely do you see a fusion of, like, narrative and gameplay. Because usually a game will be really good narratively and okay enough gameplay-wise. Very rarely do they combine. Like, this is, again, maybe my nostalgia glasses, and because Halo is really important in my own gaming career, but I feel like Halo is one of the few games that did that. The first one, and some of the other ones, is they're really able to combine a unique game mechanic that and a really tight game loop with a good story. Oh, did you hear about big gaming companies planning to raise prices from AAA games? I mean, that sounds great if they want to like cut their sales down to nothing. By the way, AAA game companies hate PC gamers because we don't buy at full price. They tried increasing the prices for PC games like they did with console games. They found that console games sold gangbusters even at the new price. But PC gamers refuse to purchase. They'll only purchase it at discount prices. They never like to purchase it at the high price. I don't think CIG... I still think CIG should sell Squadron 42 at $60. Because you make yourself such a unique entity if you're selling a AAA quality game at $60. That is a fucking story. Like, that is something that will get headlines and give you some free advertising. And you don't need to raise the prices because CSG already makes money off of it. Half-Life is so good, but we're still waiting on part 3. Half-Life is another one of those. Because Half-Life involved unique, especially Half-Life 2, unique gameplay with decent story and world building. Good story, world building. You just don't really have that anymore. I mean, like God of War, the remake, was pretty good, though I've heard and seen that the gameplay is kind of weak. It's not great. It's very traditional PlayStation, Sony third-person action game, which is in itself becoming a problem, kind of like open-world Ubisoft game. They've becoming a trope. So, I'll be right back. You should have all of your fun little buttons and such.
Weapons free, y'all.
Drugs.
Good news, everyone.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
It should be on. If it's not on, it's not on.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game.
One Wheel Doing 200 just resubscribed for 54 months.
Thank you so much for that 54 months of support there, One Wheel Loading. You're a very important pupper, very impressive pisser, very neat pedestrian. This is your fault. You really want to drink a night. Shots and cheers in chat. Y'all, shots and cheers. So apparently they're discounting Prime subs. So now Prime subs are not going to be giving us... They're going to be giving us less money for Prime subs than they normally do. They've already fucked us over because Prime subs are, so we don't actually get Prime subs the month you subscribe. Because they have to get vetted, so it takes them a month to get vetted, so they delay it a month, so then we get our Prime sub money the month after you've subbed with Prime. And only if we have enough money from Prime to cash out. Fucking hate Twitch. It's such a fucking dying ship right now. It's so fucking bad. God of War PS4 was incredible. It was a full-on experience. It's a great story. I've heard good things about it. But from what I've seen in terms of gameplay is that the gameplay itself is at times very samey. But if you're so wrapped up in the experience, then that doesn't really matter. If only YouTube would step up the streaming game, right? Well, one of the things I'm going to be doing more often is I'm going to start, I've already started, and I'm going to continue to release more shorts, because I found that when you release shorts, YouTube promotes you more. So I plan on doing a lot more shorts for both the Astro Historian and the TheAstroPubLive. So, hey, Jin.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
Hey, General Desperado. How you doing, buddy?
But you can never,
ever.
take away
I'm
my
still a little.
space game.
Thanks.
Jen and Tana just resubscribed for 51 months.
Thanks so much, Jen and Tonic, for 51 months. More capsules? Yes. But not more me doing capsules. More of me, of Uri clipping me out and from these sorts of things and doing little shorts. So. Google wants you to make shorts so they can create a conditional response to make you fulfill their goals. Do they even outright say it? No. But they also don't pay me any money from shorts. That's the problem. But one of the biggest issues is that Google refuses to pay out money for shorts, because you can get millions of impressions on shorts, and you like for one short, and that'll give you $4. It's so pathetic in terms of how much money you get from shorts. So the only way you make money is through videos. So what they've done is they said that basically the algorithm will now recommend you more, your videos more, if you release shorts than if you don't. So if you release shorts, they'll promote the shorts more, which means they'll promote your channel more, which means you have a better chance of getting your videos watched, which means you'll get more revenue from your videos. That's it. Rumble does, but I hate Rumble. So, and I don't trust Kick as far as I can throw it. I don't want to jump from one dying whale to another dying whale. Hey, Paul, can you tell what can you tell us about Gemini arms? Joseph, do you know I've talked about this multiple times. You just want to hear me do story time with Paul Shelley? Talking about Gemini arms. Why I hate Rumble? It's what Kick is to Twitch. It's where you go when you're too when it's where YouTubers go when they're too like messed up in the head or messed up and said some fucked up shit for that. Even YouTube's like, woof, I'm not touching that monetization, so they go there instead. It's such a kind of, I'm salty, I'm gonna go and take my ball and go home sort of thing. Yes. Okay. So stay a while and listen. the story of Gemini is interesting because it takes place on Castor. It's in Lo, the planet of Lo. Junction, New Junction, I think? Yeah, New Junction on Lo. Which is where a lot of people come from, actually. It's pretty interesting. It's a very dusty town. Kind of like the stereotypical Wild West, you know, tumbleweed go down the aisle, down the road. And it specifically starts with a runaway girl. She ran away from home when she was a kid, from an abusive home. And she ran into another orphan, Tavaran, whose parents had died. They had fled to Lo after the Second Tavaran War. Actually, after the First Tavaran War. And both of them had died, leaving him alone as a child. So they're about the same age. So they start living together and scavenging together, with the Tavaran boy being often the distraction, while the girl goes in and steals stuff. And the problem is that the Tavaran boy got his butt kicked a lot. And he was also still concerned about the girl's safety because she took a lot of risks. And as they were getting older and becoming teenagers, he was very concerned that they were going to do something and get caught and or get killed. So he began to build things to help them protect themselves. And one of the things he built was a hand cannon. Now, why this is important is because after the First Tavaran War, most arms companies had effectively abandoned ballistic ammo, because there's a bunch of new ideas that came out, including chemical weapons, plasma weapons, electric weapons. So a bunch of different like personal arms styles that they wanted to experiment with the exotic, because ballistic weapons didn't do very well in the First Tavaran War because of the Tavaran shield technology. So a lot of people said, there was actually a famous quote where the only place you'll find a bullet is in a museum. So a lot of
Them biddies.
think of them biddy Cosmos. So a lot of bounty hunters at the time specifically started to go to secondhand shops and buy old ballistic weapons and ammo, and had learned how to make their own ammo, because they still like the reliability of ballistic weapons. Because ballistic weapons, though they could jam, aren't prone to they don't require EMP shielding and a bunch of other stuff like that. And the girl knew this. Let me look up the names, the two names. I have an entire video on this, by the way. Polly Dalal and Clem. The Polly was the name of the girl, and Clem was the boy, the Tavaran. So Polly had seen that she was very observant. She's very business minded. She was like the street huckster, the kind of like the kid who would pickpocket and do all those sorts of things. It was like a streetwise street urchin. And she had noticed this fact that ballistic weapons were in vogue for a lot of people. So she convinced Clem that they would sell their hand cannon, which Clem was very much not for, because he's like, I built this to defend us, not to sell. And she's like, no, trust the method. Trust the method. And so she gathered a bunch of people and tested out the hand cannon in a bar, which got called the cops, and the cops showed up. This is on January 3rd, 2667. So I guess this was after the Second Tavaran War. And so the cops showed up, and they found that the gunshots that were being reported was because Polly was shooting her hand cannon into a heavy armor chest piece, which was covering ballistic gel. And so she got arrested for doing so. But in the process, she had gotten, in the demonstration, had gotten the first orders and down payments for their first sale of this hand cannon. So they used some of the money to bail her out, had to pay her fine, and then they used the rest of the money to buy the materials and to rent a shop where they built their first weapons. And because they were one of the only manufacturers who was now making ballistic weapons, the word got out. And everyone traveled to Low to buy these weapons. And they named their company Gemini because no one knew that Clem was a Tavaran. Polly knew, and so when people asked who made these weapons, she said, my brother Clem made these weapons. So Gemini is in reference to them being twins. She said that her twin brother Clem made the weapons. So for up until very recently in Star Citizen's lore, no one knew that Clem wasn't actually human. So yeah. They continued to do very well after that, and they've stuck to ballistic weapons, and they became the ballistic weapons manufacturer for a long time until Bering started making ballistic weapons again. Same with Castac, when Castac started making ballistic weapons. But they're still pretty well known for their ballistic scene. They also do have some energy weapons, which I don't think we don't know if we have them in game yet, but yeah. So why don't we have a Gemini hand cannon? That's a good question. We need to have the hand cannon, baby. The LH-001. The fuck you and the ball, whoever's in the wall behind you weapon. The story of Castac. Klepter. I'll give you the story of Castac in one simple one encapsulated visions. Give me a moment. You ready? Freedom. You now know the history of Castac. What the fuck? Yeah. I wish I could like a second time. The best way of describing Castac is that Castac was formed as a response to the fall of Virgil, because now Vega was on the front lines. So Vega needed a company to be able to produce weapons that could defeat the Vanduul, but build it very cheap. So they needed cheap weapons that they could outfit their militias with, because they knew that they were worried, because of how quickly the Vanduul spread, that the Vanduul would be hitting Vega next. So it was actually owned by the government of, I think, Selene, in like Vega 3 or 2. I think it's Vega 2. So they were owned by the government and sold weapons to whoever needed them. And the problem was they were corrupt as fuck. And they got caught sabotaging the early warning alarms for Vega. Like, employees were sent out to sabotage early warning alarms to make it look like the Vanduul had been sabotaging them. And they got caught by the Navy. Like, red fucking handed. And yeah, they were about to get shut down. And at the 11th hour before they got shut down, a private investor purchased them. So they went private. And that's all you need to know about Castac. They've been doing that same shit ever since. They will sell weapons to both sides of the conflict and not even bat an eye. like their money spends, fuck you. Like, and whenever they get brought up at being like, why are you selling these guns to criminals? They're just like, we also sell guns to hard-working, freedom-loving, law-abiding citizens. And are you saying that a law-abiding citizen shouldn't have the right to own a firearm to protect themselves? Is that what you're saying? Do you hate freedom, sir? Do you hate safety? Do you want children to die? Then no. Then exactly. So that's why we protect the people. We sell affordable firearms for people who need defense. But you sell it to criminals. Because we don't sell anything. We sell it to law-abiding, freedom-loving citizens of the empire. They are the Drake of empire of firearms, 100%. Quick, buy our guns to protect yourself from the Vanduul. Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. And in fact, they'd been doing it for years, where they would sabotage or do something to make it look like the Vanduul might be coming, so that a lot of people would panic buy guns. So the American gun lobby, you're goddamn right. Do I need to do this again? Because I'll do it again. That's why this is a summary of. Oh, let me do this right. I have to do this right. freedom, democracy, protection. God damn. That's why I love Castac, because they're unabashedly entirely corrupt. Like 100%. I'm gonna use this now. Go for it. Like, legitimately, like, what's this, the image? Let me see, we can find the image and I'll put it up there. Like, Castac Arms is this meme. This is Castac Arms, and this is the government of Locke. Because Castac Arms sold weapons to the rebels who were fighting against probably the last of the Mezzer holdouts after the revolution had ended. And Castac Arms weapons helped overthrow the last Mezzer regime. So the new flag of Locke, which was made after the end of the after the Mezzers were kicked out, was gifted to Castac Arms as a present, as a thank you for them making weapons for that they used for the revolution. Castac has it hanging in their offices. But you know, they probably sold weapons to the Mezzers as well. They 100% sold that shit to that governor. We're just like, yes, we support freedom. Money. It's just there's no records of Castac selling any weapons to the governor anymore. Exactly. It's why I fucking love them, because they are absolutely 100% corrupt. They are the most openly corrupt corporation that has ever corrupted organization. Similar to how the 1975 Mozambique flag had an AK on it, they are like, Castac is unabashedly an AK, is the unabashedly the Auto Kalashnikov. They're Kalashnikov. That is 100% what CIG based them off of. So Castac is like Drake of guns, only without anything resembling shame. They fucking water, what's the term? Fire hose of information? They fire hose people with like their debate style. Like, they have been called straight out for their corruption, and they just 100% destroyed senators who tried to call them out on it. Because they also have records, long records, of them supporting like police officers and like pro UEE forces, like gifting like free weapons and equipment to militia on the frontier fighting against Van Duel. Like, they will do fuck tons of PR stunts where they gave away tons of armor and weapons to the good guys of the universe, and they will throw it in anyone's face who tells them otherwise. It's like, well, your guns are used by criminals. We don't fucking control who buys our guns, but we know we do control all of the weapons and equipment we gave to this security forces for this planet. For free, mind you. We just like selling guns. And not just saying that, but also screaming about the right to defend yourself and the right to own weapons. It is so unabashedly coded as the American weapons manufacturing, and I love it. Their first gun is free. Exactly. Yes, they do. They give guns to cops after they sold all of the criminals in that city guns. You got a meme for me? Hit me up there, Klepter. So Defense God 2953 should be sponsored by Drake and Castac together. 100%. Texas. Yes, we sold weapons to pirates, but we charged them double. I like it. Yeah, Castac Arms is always accidentally based. They never intend to. They'd be the kind of people does based mean you make money? Then I don't give a fuck. Come back when you can give me money. Based on my finances or profits. Yeah. That's basically what it is. That's literally what they said. Gee, looks like gangs you're dealing with have some serious firepower. Need to upgrade your armories. Here you go. I'm going to read some quotes.
Weapons free, y'all.
Top quote. We don't care about being subtle. We care about being effective. That's a direct quote from the CEO. He also said, let there be no mistake. We make guns like countless other manufacturers in this empire, but we get criticized because our ads are honest about owning a weapon. Having one is more than protection. It's also about power. Castac makes the custodian. Yeah. And the reason why this is important is because that was a response to an ad that features a young civilian family of 4 standing outside a modest home with flames licking the foreground. 2 kids huddled next to their parents who each hold a Castac weapon. The wife blows smoke from a barrel of her gun. The husband holds his weapon high, leading the eye to the tagline, "Protect your empire," next to the company's ubiquitous logo, a clenched fist coming at the viewer. They also had an ad that was a woman with a shotgun, a woman in a bikini, half-naked woman in a bikini on white background holding a shotgun that had the quote below it, "The reason why the Vanduul haven't invaded Vega." They give no fucks. 0 fucks are given by them at all. Hey, Jaybird. No, I need to see that ad in game. Like goddamn. Yeah, it's the ads copy. There's a reason the Vanduul avoid Vega. I'll read it straight. Featuring an attractive model standing over a dead Vanduul holding a Castac armed shotgun, with the ad copy reading, "There's a reason the Vanduul avoid Vega." This was before Vega attacked Vanduul, or the Vanduul attacked Vega. All right, let me read this. To this day, ads for Castac arms are common sight in lower income neighborhoods like Newcastle and Tram, which are both on Magnus. When critics charge that Castac spurs violence in such areas, company's officials point to the high sales and affordable ad space as justification for its practices. As Hiram Larcher bluntly said in an interview, these people need affordable... I'm sorry, let me do it right. These people need affordable guns. Look how much crime and violence they have to deal with. Do you know how dangerous it would be for them to go unarmed? Actual fucking quote. In defense of them selling guns to poor people. Larker. Hiram Larker. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're definitely sending illegal expeditions for the mythic super weapon. So budget arms from Cyberpunk. Yes. Exactly, Skyguard. Exactly. Spoken like a true Castac Arms ad man. You should get hired by them, Skyguard. The implication is obvious that Castac is taking advantage of poor people in crime-ridden neighborhoods so that they could sell guns. And as a result, they end up selling... They're not really selling guns as much as they're selling... You know those old ads with like... that they banned for cigarettes in the United States? With like sexy women and, you know, dudes with sexy women around them and like Joe Cool, the camel and all that kind of stuff, making cigarettes look really cool. Castac does that, but with weapons. So effectively, they're advertising, if you want to be sexy, if you want to look like you have a big dick, buy a Castac Arms weapon. That is their advertising. So they're 100% advertising to poor communities who may not be able to afford it, advertising the power of owning a firearm more than the firearm itself. And that's what the point of what they're talking about. And their response is, fuck you, people need protection. All their guns are the same. Devastator, Custodian, Scalpa, Coda. Yeah.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
When you see the price of scalpels and pyro, you can probably get one of those price of an undersuit.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Athagan just resubscribed for 80 months. Could I come back, please? It's 105F here.
Hey, Ath. Oh, thank you for saying 80 months of support. It's 105. Holy fuck. You don't want to come here. Well, because it'll be 105 in the summer here. You're a very important bumper, very impressive Pennsylvania pedestrian. You rock, buddy. So they're just cutting the subtext to say they have now, because our product will make you sexy, is still in their ads today. True. How far can a Vandal cap ship penetrate UE space? Anyways, given the jump point size. Not far. Yeah. I'm calling it the Bonesaw Assault Rifle. Bonesaw's ready. Ever since I read their lore, I have been a diehard fan of Castac. If I could get a Castac Arms t-shirt to wear around in real life, I would fucking do it in a heartbeat. That it is such well-written lore, and I love the fact that they are effectively unremittent scammers. Not really scammers, like They are hyper capitalists. And I love that in every way possible. It's one of those things that you like would 1000%, like, you would see people who would fucking ride or die Castac in this universe. You know? Because a Castac Arms, like, salesman would be like, do you like freedom? Yeah, I like freedom. You want protection for your family? Yeah, I do. Do you want to look super fucking cool? Yeah, I like to super fucking cool. Here's a coda. This is a 50 caliber pistol round that can go through 14 inches of lead, whatever. I don't know the actual penetration power, but I know that the overpen of a 50 cal pistol round is probably fucking insane. This could bring down a Vandal in a single shot. A charging Vandal in a single shot. What do you think it's going to do to a pirate or a thug? Someone tries to break into your house, one of these bullets will take their head clean off. Sold instantly. Take care of your intruder and your pesky neighbor with one shot. This will kill the Vandal charging at you and 2 more standing in the drop pod behind it. Exactly. It's beyond perfect. Because it's also form meets function. Because all of these weapons were designed to kill Vandal. So they're designed to be cheap, easy to manufacture, simple to find weapons, and like simple to get parts for, and still be able to take down effectively a charging elephant. So they're over exaggerated in their power. They have incredible like stopping power. They are cheap. They're easy to find. It's like, this is the perfect fucking weapon for a person who wants to live in the universe of Star Citizen, because they're the Drake of weapons, only they also make armor. And their armor is cool as fuck. Wait a second, don't Vandal fight naked? They also have natural armor in their skin. Their skin is armored. It's the AKM of the UEE. Bingo. Let me pull up the Castac Arms. I'll pull up the Castac Arms armor. So they did do the Calico set, the Citadel, the Dust Up, the Inquisitor, the Lynx, and the Microid. Diablos likes Castac. He's got a Citadel set. Don't listen to Diablos. Diablos doesn't know what he's doing. So these are the ones that they make. So the Lynx, the Microid, which is the which makes me think that all of the Duster's armor is made by Castac. The Inquisitor, the Dust Up, which is this is the black version of the Dust Up, and the Citadel, and the Calico. The black version of Calico here. Custodian and a Coda. That's true. That's true. I only have Castac guns. That's true.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
They also make all the battle suits too, and the undersuits too, yeah. The stone skin.
N1GHTCOB just resubscribed for 23 months, looking sharp as always.
Thank you so much there, Night Cobb, for that 23 months. You're a very important public, very impressive piece of any pedestrian. This is your fault, Illusion Trigger 9. You've joined us in a discussion of the best weapon manufacturer in the verse, Castac Arms. I do like Clark Defense Systems for my armor. You tend to prefer those. No, Castac. Ugh, what are you talking about? What is this nouveau riche bullshit? What is this Fed shit that you're talking about, Night Cobb? How can you not like the Kalashnikov of the of the Star Citizen universe? Look, you know why. I do know why. I do 100% know why. I fucking hate Klaus and Werner, man. Klaus and Werner pisses me off. Not because, I mean, right now it's because they're shit. Like, their weapons are garbage. The only thing that I like that's not Castac is Arclight. The Arclight is solid. I just want Apocalypse Arms to make more personal weapons. Okay, now it's time to talk about Apocalypse Arms lore, because this is another fun one. Did you know that Apocalypse Arms weapons are all war crimes? I'm not even joking. They were all invented to be war crimes. They're literally the war crimes company. Yeah, they make the Demon Fang. Yes, that's why I want more of them. So at the end of the Mezer era, a former Aegis Dynamics ship designer was pulled in with a bunch of other people to design weapons that would be more effective at dealing with the rise of rebellions and protests in the UEE. So she and her team were tasked specifically with designing weapons that would do the maximum amount of damage to the larger amount of area, especially dealing with unarmored civilian targets. These were weapons designed specifically to kill civilians. Not gas, because gas is expensive. They wanted weapons that you could put on ships or carry around. It's never a war crime the first time. They would 100% sell sarin gas canisters, though. Yeah, high-rated flare Gatlings. These were all designed to shotgun scatter weapons. These were designed to do the maximum amount of damage for the most bang for your buck. So, yeah. This was uncovered by an investigator who found these designs in some, like, locked off area that he didn't understand where they came from, tracked them down, figured out what it was, and then took those designs from this, because they never built any of the weapons. They designed them, and then the anti-Mezer revolution happened, and they fucking skipped. They burned what they could, and they ran. Like, they went off and made their own, like they changed their names. Like, they were so afraid of getting caught because they were explicitly making crimes against humanity. So we don't know how much they have, because this guy who founded Apocalypse Arms got these weapons and then called them Apocalypse Arms because they were war crimes. So they may have sarin gas launchers, flechette weapons, like some heinous shit, you know? And they kind of emphasize, that was their original marketing, was that they build weapons that are designed to end the world. Would they be the one who would sell the size 10 railguns you retrofit the Idris P? Probably not. That might be Castac. You know who would actually do that, Klepter? Hurston. Not a war crime is against the Vandal? True. The rule being that there is no such thing as war crimes in space because there's no such thing as the Geneva Convention in space. So... So yeah, I would love to see, like, wait, does Bearing make the grenade launcher, or is that Apocalypse Arms? Who makes the grenade launcher? Bearing? Okay. It's not a war crime the first time. Quack bang out. Yeah. Wait, was it the what's-his-face conspiracy guy who discovered the Apocalypse Arms backstory? No, it was a different person. Flat Delicious is great. Tell me about Old Man Hurston. We don't talk about Old Man Hurston. Hey, I'll be right back. Yeah, the shoulder-mounted missile launcher is Apocalypse Arms. The shoulder-mounted railgun is Apocalypse Arms. They also make most of the scatter weapons for ships. They make a lot of the ballistic repeaters or ballistic Gatlings. I think that's mostly what they do. Be right back.
Weapons free, y'all.
I realized that's a video idea that I have to do now. I have to do a lore video of every single weapons manufacturer, the lore of every single personal weapons manufacturer in Star Citizen. The Strife Mass Driver, yeah. Yeah, that's where I get to. Because, like, the reality is, there is no such thing as a moral weapons manufacturer. None of them are really good. Klaus and Werner is the closest one, but the guy who founded Klaus and Werner is a dick, so... and I hate their weapons, so... But, like, even Bearing makes their weapons intentionally so that they break. Not even joking. They can make weapons which aren't as don't require as many parts or require as much maintenance and still keeps up accuracy and like they're still pretty good, but they make most of their money on parts. So they make money when their weapons break. There is some Volt lore. I haven't looked into that. So the question, why is the sizing convention for weapons? Are there things bigger than 12? There might be. We don't know a lot about the sizing convention because they haven't done any lore for it, because I think CIG is more wondering, at this point it's more of a, do they have bigger than 12 size weapons or not? They have to kind of make that decision. My guess is that my best guess is that the sizing convention is a RSI thing, where RSI said it years ago and everyone's just kind of applied to it. It's either an Aegis or an RSI thing. Maybe both of them got together and decided to standardize sizes. As a result, everyone else has just applied, it just uses the standard. Also, for those of you who don't know, bearing is General Electric. They were always kind of hinted at being General Electric, and then when the Ares came out, they just all but threw it in and be like, yeah, we're GE. Yeah, they're GE. Most of the appliances that we see in the universe, like the microwaves and stuff, they're all made by Bearing. GE made the GAU 8, and the size 7, bespoke size 7s that are on the Ares were made first, and then they partnered with Crusader to build a ship to specifically use the bespoke size 7s. CIG is never fucking subtle in their writing. The Ares is a space A10 Warthog. That's what it's supposed to be. MISC is Hitachi? I think so, yeah. It's MISC is supposed to be, because they they have MISC High, which is a specific reference to Mazda or Honda. There's a heavy industries version of one of the Japanese car companies that I can't remember. It might be Mitsubishi, but they're kind of a amalgam of a lot of different Japanese plane and auto manufacturers. MISC is Mitsubishi for sure. Yeah. Ford would probably be RSI, honestly. Ford or General Electric. Or General Motors. Acts like Chevy too, yeah. Who's probably Hitachi is Sakura Sun. Sakura Sun is kind of like they're kind of like if you took Nintendo and mixed them with Honda. Like, they make video games. Sakura Sun makes video games. Youth Pastor Ryan's got the best video on the on GE. I love his videos on the various companies, because he used to work for the defense industry. He worked for the DoD, so he has like unique. He isn't unique, but he has a lot of insider knowledge about like the different companies that do stuff, like Ball. Oh God, when Nintendo won the console wars, if they renamed themselves Sakura Sun. Terra Mills makes Big Bennies. It used to be Bremen Mills, but then they took over. The pod version of Squadron 42 in Star Citizen is made by It's not electronic access. I'll look it up. It's the people who make Arena Commander. Original systems. Which, you know, is not subtle. Because they're really well known for a game series called the Ultimate series. The Ultimate series allowed users to enter a world populated with a mix of everything from medieval fantasy tropes to present-day space adventure themes. A typical Ultimate scenario might include everything from horseback swordplay to ranged laser warfare, all wrapped around compelling stories that force players to make value judgments rather than simply gunning each other down. To date, 6 main Ultimate titles have been released, each continuing the main player's adventures through a bizarre fictional realm. Most recently, most unexpectedly, Ultimate has proven very popular amongst the Xi'an. The Xi'an Sea-Sphere Organic Entertainment Corporation reached out to Original Systems to request that they port Ultimate 3 to the first piece of human entertainment software adapted for alien use in this fashion. Resulting advertising blitz made Garrity, who was the founder, Garrity... Where are you? Henry Garrity. Not subtle. Yeah, I'm sure he goes by Duke Garrity online. Garrity, a minor celebrity amongst the Xi'an, and brought in an entirely new audience for the game. And by the way, Ultimate is a Mobiglass title. So it's technically a mobile game. Here are some of the names. The first game was called Akbar, that they made. A role-playing game unlike anything released before for Mobiglass. The game sold well, becoming a hit amongst burgeoning Mobiglass marketplace. Success quickly landed Garrity a professional publishing deal with the industry powerhouse Oakhurst Online, who would publish the first 3 Ultimate titles until a dispute over quality of included holographic maps split the parties. Fellow game developer Charlie Bass to form Original Systems that same year launched both Bass Caves of Terra, a platforming action game, and Garrity's Ultima 4. I'm sorry, Ultimate. Little slip there. They made a game called Climb in 2940. Garrity struck up friendship with the upcoming Terran developer Tristan Blair. Blair had published a variety of successful games of interactive home display walls and was eager to break into a higher-powered world that was possible by going beyond Mobiglass development with dedicated gaming hardware. Garrity quickly offered to publish his latest title, an Ultimate-esque RPG called Times of Myth, and then hired him to design further titles that original. The end result was nothing short of game-changing, the release of Arena Commander. Oakhurst Online from Carl and Victoria Billings. So the next title, so Arena Commander is so big that they're working on a sequel called Arena Commander 2. And Arena Commander 2... Oh, no, Arena Commander 2 isn't. So they're working on either Ultimate... So Original System's either working on Ultimate 7 or Arena Commander 2 or Tristan Blair's pet project, which is a historical air combat sim. That's the next possibility. Civil unrest games that makes isometric tactical sims. Well, you know who makes Star Marine? Is this also a separate game in the universe? Hold up. You ready for this? You ready to figure out who makes Star Marine? Hold on to something, because you're about to throw something. Interdimension Software. And the logo has highlighted the I and the D in Interdimension Software. Again, CIG is never fucking subtle. The box art is literally a rip of Doom. Yeah. Hold on. I have a song for this. I've got early access to the soundtrack of Star Marine 2. Star Marine, I'm sorry, it's a reboot. It's Star Marine 29.
Them biddies.
2956.
Sid really said, I know writers who use subtlety and subtext, and they're all cowards.
They did. This is a leak of exclusive leak of the next song for Star Marine 2946. Here's where I found it. This is where I found the leak. You should all go check it out. Flare and Wacka. Someone mentioned it. I was like, yeah, that's Flare and Wacka should do a soundtrack for Star Marine in the style of Doom, 2016. Again, play it again. I love it. I put it up there. So yeah, it's on Spotify. It's DMC free. It's great. Go check it out. I put it up on SoundCloud. You can also buy their album on Bandcamp. It's great. Go buy it. It's fantastic. I'll put the link up there again on the SoundCloud link. But the whole album's great. It's free on YouTube too. Yeah, the whole album's free on YouTube. Wanderlust is great too, yeah. I think Gangs of Pyro really stands out as like the standout title, but I do like Bloodshed. Pyro itself is pretty good. Just in general. They're all good songs. That was Gangs of Pyro. The whole album is is like themed on Pyro, on like the feel of Pyro. It's not official, so it's not official CIG, despite that Wacka works for CIG. It's not official. It is done as a, but it has been given the blessing of, we're not going to sue you. As long as you don't use any official Star Citizen art or anything else like that. It is 100% free for everyone to use in their own content. So. Does the UE have like Cold War fairs like we have Ren fairs? Not that I know of. Whack is so good at what he's done. Oh yeah, they do a lot of. I don't know how much Wacka and Flaro have worked together. This is the first time I've seen them work together, but his tracks are great. Here, let me pull up some more Wacka songs just because we've got time. There's time now. So he has an entire album called Low Fly. Good night, Night God. Have a good night. This is one called Synth Funk, which was put out there about a year ago. I think this is still work in progress, but there's actually a story behind that. You know why it's called Jay Lee's House? After we on the wiki for the Castac arm stuff, what's the PXT-12 Apex torpedo? I don't know much about it. I have to look that up. I'm sure it has some references there and there. So when we played when I played a lot of Apex, no, I haven't played any Apex Legends in a long time. When I played a lot of PUBG with Texas Skulls, we often had Jay Lee come hang out with us. And the joke we made was there's this, somehow the joke got to the point that one of the houses outside of Pachinki, we call it Jay Lee's house, because we would always stop by Jay Lee's house and then take a shit in the in the toilet, like upper decker Jay Lee's toilet on the second floor. I don't know how it became a joke and a tradition. It just did. And so that became Jay Lee's house as like kind of in the stream joke. And Wacka took that and made a song out of it. You want to hear another cool thing? That song just changed for me. That's where we used to joke about it, but the joke eventually became it was Jay Lee's house in PUBG. Here's a song called "Space Be Crazy."
There's a diamond planet. There's a planet where it rains glass. There's a stellar cloud that's supposed to taste like raspberry schnapps.
The thing we also learned was that space be crazy. You know, oh, this can't happen, and then a week later something would come out in the, NASA or something would be like, oh, by the way.
Hey, Ram. There's also a song called Sean Tracy, Don't Be Mad at Me for this remix.
There's a big naked male. 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 I forgot about this. Naked male. There's a big 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 naked. He's saying, here's the 4K naked male. It was Sean Tracy. He was showing off the new model that we're using for the player characters. This is like 7 years ago, and he famously said the 4K naked male, and it became a meme in the community of Sean Tracy talking about the naked male, and Wacka did a remix of it.
I'll let you hear the very beginning.
There's a big naked male. There's a big naked male.
There's a big naked male. That clears up so little. Good. I have so many more questions. I'll answer them with this. You stand for this out for the anthem. Oh, we're just getting into weird places right now. That's okay with it. I'm okay with this. Isn't there some cursed Christmas special from CIG somewhere? Klepter. It is becoming a tradition, which I will continue, to watch the Star Citizen Christmas special, 2016 Christmas special, on Christmas in July. So July 24th, I will be drinking heavily and watching it. Probably, I'm going to try to drag some other content creators in with me so we can just watch it together during the day. Because why not? It's mostly boring, but there are some absolute insanity. Oh no, there's a new event on my calendar. What do you think we'll get artillery guns in the game? I think after they've done, like, they gotta figure out what they're gonna do with ground combat. Once they have a better idea of how ground combat and ground vehicles and combined our warfare stuff will work, I think that's when they'll start working on artillery. And the angels did weep. See, after all of what I just said, after everything I've done, there's someone in the comments who's going to complain that they could have watched up to the point where I started listening to random stuff, and then they got mad about it, and they turned it off, and then they'll talk about how they've unsubscribed, and they're never going to watch me again because I decided to have a little cheeky fun. It's going to happen. Because that's just how the people I attract, apparently. People who enjoy my very serious analysis of monthly reports and talking about philosophical ideas, and then 2 minutes later, shit posting. I'd love some underbarrel weapons. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, Paul, I know we're all loot goblin positive, but can please remind me never to loot another FS9 again. Did it break everything for you, Iris? The soul of decorum. Oh no, I stay for the cheeky fun and drink alcohol from Star Citizen sippy cup. I do too, but it's my invisible sippy cup. And it's empty. Yeah, after my wife got me the Stanley, I found out that apparently these things are all the rage, and I'm confused. It's a good cup. Keeps my water cool. But who would fight for this? It's just a cup. I don't understand it. People complain. People talk about Star Citizen fans being crazy. Who the fuck would fight somebody in a Target for this? Yeah, someone stole $2,500 worth of them. I was wrong. I wish I wasn't. But imagine the 4SCU box like a ball, like a balloon. Now imagine the FS9s and the 4SCU crate like glitter. Now imagine that the balloon is very full. Now imagine that CIG went and removed the balloon, but not the glitter. Oh God. Oh God. Some thirsty motherfuckers. Yeah. Why would you want a cargo barge in Star Citizen? Because I'm a loot goblin. Yeah, my dad grabbed Stanley thermos from the 70s. Yeah, like I remember them being didn't they used to make like coolers? They're not like a new company. Stanley's been around for a while. They make tools too. Is this the same Stanley? Has for decades, yeah. Like they're not a new company. I've seen them around for a while. Like there's a couple of them. There's one that's like a local Texas one that I see in HEB all the time. I can't remember the name of it, but it's been around for a bit. I think my wife got me a Stanley because she knew about the joke. Because like Stanley got recently got pretty popular from a viral thing where it's like a woman had her Stanley in her like car, and the car burned. Like the entire car was gutted with fire, and the only thing that survived was her Stanley. So like basically promoting that Stanleys are indestructible. And as a result, that got a lot more people interested. But I think they started partnering with Starbucks and got a bunch of stuff like that. And it was full of ice. Yeah. I think that's really what caused it. Can you imagine the C-suite of Stanley going, what the fuck just happened? Yes, and the thermos had glass insulated thermos that's shattered when dropped. That had a glass insulated thermos. That sounds bad. This is 1913. Okay, yeah. Stanley actually replaced her car. I heard about that, yeah. Oh, they made the old Stanley, the old steel lunchboxes. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it works okay. I like it. I think that's the reason why she got it, because she'd heard about it. She's like, I'm gonna get you a Stanley. I'm like, okay. I don't know what that is, but okay. And so she got me this one. Because if you know my my big blue one that's as big as my head, I still use it. But it's pretty cheap. It's got like a little plastic ring on the inside that's come loose from its like bindings. So it often doesn't fully sit on top of the mug. So it doesn't fully insulate. So it's not as good as when I first got it, which is why she bought me the Stanley. So. And it's got a little straw, so I drink out of it. And I realize I'm drinking water out of it. I think most people drink like coffee and tea out of it. So. Just sippy cup. It's a sippy straw. Adult sippy cups, yeah. Why would I want a cargo barge in Star Citizen? Well, something's got a hold on my FS9s. We've been in a lot of places today. We've gone on all over the place. I do love the story times. I always like to talk a little bit about the the lore of Star Citizen for people who don't know, because, like, dear God, there is so much. I mean, so much lore for, like, everything in the game. Like, anything that's in the game right now has lore behind it. Even a little bit of lore. There are some exceptions, like the Redeemer. There are some ships which don't have, like, lots of lore, but the companies that make those ships have lore. Like, the weapons themselves don't tend to have lore, but the companies that make the weapons do. Well, the AI at Siege of Orison is much nicer, but it's still sort of a dumpster fire. Tried to get back to the hospital, heal up at a tier 1 injury, got shot by Crusader Crusader Security for trespassing. Yeah, that's not the AI's fault. That's more of a design issue, which we've all kind of discussed in the past. The first I saw of the fad was this grandma uses her Stanley to carry pierogi. And naturally, they were still warm since it's vacuum-walled vessel. Yeah, nice. Would love to have the barge from the Squadron 42 video. Looked like a consolidated Outland style. And its internal cargo. Yeah, looked pretty good. I saw people at Target, like, go to a Target when it opened, and then bum rushed the display, and then beat each other up to grab the pink the special edition Valentine's Day pink Stanley, which I think was a collaboration with Starbucks. Well, that's good to hear. I'm always looking forward to seeing the AI be a little bit more responsive and a little bit more dangerous. It is going to be interesting to see if Uri goes through this video and clips parts out of this video. It's going to be very. I have a feeling it's going to end up being like the Castac arm stuff. CIG has already ixed the Crusader Jupiter. Like, the ship team has already just flat out said no to the Jupiter. They know it. They understand it. They're not going to do it. It's every citizen's God-given right to fight over a Stanley. Damn it, I just closed the national anthem. I also want a railgun Corvette. I think that's right up the alley of Anvil. But credit card go whoosh. Oh. I just want to be able to vehicle mount and man portable railguns, all right? Yeah, I agree. Need an Anvil beat stick cap ship. They need something that's going to replace the Perseus. I'd imagine if one company was to make another Corvette in the same style as the Polaris, it would be Anvil, and if how they would differentiate it from the Polaris would be. Instead of it being missile or torpedo heavy, it would be gun heavy. The kind of, gun and armor heavy. So it's similar to the Perseus, but it's more upscaled. It's like a Perseus. It's like the Perseus's older brother. And yeah, with that, it'd probably be able to hold like a single, like a fighter or something like that. I'd rather it not, but you know, people love their pocket carriers. All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow for some Enshrouded gameplay. But I also want to announce right now, we are going to be doing cough. We're going to be doing a pubathon. So a pubathon is just a subathon, and the way it's going to work is I'm going to start bright and early on Saturday. I'm going to go from 6 a.m. to whenever we finish streaming, or whenever we finish. I'm going to do it for at least 8 hours. So like 2-3 o'clock. And if we get more than that, we get more than that. We'll do Captain's Table on Saturday. And if we have time, if we still have time left over, we'll go beyond that. And we'll go up to like 10, 11 o'clock at night, my time. So a total of like 15, 16 hours. And then if we have more time for the next day, I'll go to bed, wake up early, and then we'll continue streaming on Sunday and start to continue the timer at that one. So the stream will still be running, but I'll pause the timer until I get back to streaming. And then from there we'll go through whenever the timer runs out with a cap of 24 hours maximum. And if we do, that's great. If we don't, then we'll still be streaming normal time, noon on Sunday. And we'll be doing some Senator Armin Strong. I gotta get the voice right, but you know, Senator Strong. Hell yeah, brother. Yeah. What time is it now? It's 10 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to know the time of when it's going to start, I put it as an event on Discord.
Remember, chat, you want a strong advocate for your system in the Senate. You want Senator Armin Strong. He has fought for all of our lives and beaten up Vandal with his bare hands. Will other senators fight as hard for you? Vote strong. Vote Armin Strong, the once and future senator. Stuck in Pyro and unable to vote? Then make Mahani the pirate queen of Pyro. The reasons for this are obvious and do not bear any narration.
Thank you so much for them biddies there, Iris. You're a very important pupper. I love it. I always love that. That is definitely something I'm going to work with Uriah about. I'm going to announce that Senator Armin Strong is running for senator of. Is starting a campaign to get representation in the Senate and become the first senator for Stanton. On April 1st of this year, I'm going to do a campaign video, full blown. I'm going to try to work with some people about it. It's a nice little April Fool's joke, and then have little campaign ads that run around for the rest of the year. But for those of you who don't know, whenever we do Siege of Orison, I do Senator Armin Strong. Basically, I wear nothing but a suit, no armor, nothing, and I go around and beat Ninetales to death with my bare hands. You picked up some security clothes? Awesome. Tomorrow we'll be doing Enshrouded with some pub and plays, Enshrouded with Loken. Just kind of nice little testing out. I played it a little bit. It's fun, but it'd be nice to play it with some other folks. And then on Saturday is when we're going to do the pubathon, and it'll go through Sunday. Like the most we'll go to is like 5 p.m. on Sunday my time, so like 6 p.m. Eastern. And we'll do giveaways. I'll be giving away a lot of like smaller ships that I have, and the idea is that we're going to be doing. I hope to be able to do once a month pubathons, just so because they're fun, because I like doing them, because I like hanging out with y'all and doing crazy stuff, and 2, it helps kind of even with the slow months to kind of keep things up. Uri, I'm trying to get to pay Uri more money for his work with both the captain's table and office hours clips and like shorts, as well as doing more doing things like the complete history of Star Citizen lore videos and other lore videos. So the more I can pay him like as a full-time like editor, the better. And so I need to kind of keep doing that sort of thing. So. With that being said, I'm going to call it a night. We've been just a little over 3 hours. Thank you for watching us. I will be back tomorrow. And yeah, like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.